That night, my wife carried two keys on her keychain. One was ours, the other she claimed belonged to her colleague's apartment for their cat. I acknowledged this. The following morning, I contacted the coworker. She didn't possess a feline companion, nor had she given away a spare key to anyone. As a plumber, I've performed service calls across the same county for 6 days every week during the past 11 years. This has given me an intimate knowledge of the apartment complexes within a 40-mile radius from our home, as I've serviced drains in approximately half of them. It was then that I noticed the key. It was a Medico, a type commonly used in Ridgeline Terrace units off Franklin. I had recently completed a bathroom renovation there 2 months prior. I immediately recognized the key when I saw it. My wife, Dana, functioned as an office coordinator at a physical therapy clinic. She departed at 7:30 a.m., returning at 5:15 p.m. daily for 9 years. Our son, Caleb, was 7 years old. Upon returning from jobs, I would collect him from school while Dana prepared dinner. Our routine remained unchanged with no disruptions. The situation was uneventful, but something unexpected caught my attention, a key on her ring that wasn't there a week ago, next to her house key. I brought it up with her during laundry folding on Tuesday night, expecting some reaction, but she remained unfazed. She explained it was Jess's apartment key, as Jess often traveled for family matters, and Dana took care of her cat occasionally. There was no emotion in her voice or a pause in her actions. I responded and retreated to the garage, unable to sleep that night. Not out of self-pity, but because I was on my phone searching for Jess Caldwell. I found her on the clinic staff page and social media sites. Surprisingly, there were no photos of a cat in her apartment, no litter box or pet bowls visible. This continued for 2 years' worth of pictures. By 6 in the morning, I had obtained Jess's number from the clinic website and called her before starting my day. I informed Jess that I'm Dana's husband and shared that Dana mentioned taking care of her cat during her trip. Following a lengthy silence, she admitted to not owning a cat. She explained she hadn't given anyone a house key. She expressed concern about the situation, sounding more puzzled than defensive. I assured her everything was fine, thanked her, and ended the call. Despite my grips on the steering wheel remaining firm, an icy sensation filled me behind my ribs. I parked at a gas station and pondered over the conversation for a moment. Dana provided a false account about having a cat, suggesting she had premeditated her response to my inquiry. It wasn't an offhand explanation. It was a well-prepared story with specific details, even including a non-existent pet. This implied that she had rehearsed the lie before I ever posed the question. I should have addressed the issue that very night. Instead, I made an error. The following morning, after dropping Caleb at school, I navigated to Ridgeline Terrace on my own. 32 units across 3 buildings, each with a dark green door. I visited the leasing office, claiming a service call for Unit 14, a number I invented. The woman at the desk looked up my request in her system and reported no work order. Apologizing, I assumed I had the wrong complex. However, while she was still checking, I had already examined the tenant list on the wall behind her. No Dana or any familiar last name appeared. Thus, whoever's apartment that key opened, it wasn't rented under a name related to my wife. This indicated one thing: it was leased under someone else's name. I returned to my truck in the parking lot and phoned my elder brother, Ray. I informed him of everything: the key, the false cat story, the call to Jess, the apartment complex, and the tenant list. Ray didn't mince words. He stated that if she was hiding an apartment key and lying about a pet, she was only sustaining the situation. He advised me to slow down, stop speculating, and provide concrete evidence before speaking to her. He suggested I follow her once he specified that night. That evening, I observed Dana's usual routine. She returned home at 5:15 as usual, prepared chicken and rice, assisted Caleb with his spelling words. At 8:40, after Caleb was in bed, she declared she needed to visit the pharmacy. She picked up her purse, kissed my cheek, and departed. I allowed her a 3-minute head start. Then I hopped into my truck. Her tail lights were easy to trace in our neighborhood. She didn't go to the pharmacy. She didn't visit Jess's imaginary cat. Instead, she drove directly to Ridgeline Terrace and parked in front of Building C. I observed her ascend the stairs to the 2nd floor and stop at a door. She retrieved her Medico key from her keychain, unlocked the door, and entered as if it were her home. A light illuminated within. Through the window, I could discern the shape of someone already inside the room. It was a man. He approached her. I couldn't see more, but I didn't require it. I snapped a picture of her car parked outside that building, clearly showing the unit number. I then went home, plugged in my phone, and perched on the bed's edge. She returned at 10:40, emanating a different soap scent. The following morning, while Dana was showering, I removed the Medico key from her keychain. She kept her keys in the side pocket of her purse. I slid the key off the ring and tucked it into my work bag. I made coffee, prepared Caleb's lunch, and drove him to school as usual on that Thursday. After dropping him off, I headed directly to Ridgeline Terrace, Building C, Unit 21. Climbing those stairs, I inserted the key into the lock and turned it. The door opened. The apartment was compact, featuring one bedroom, a couch, and a TV mounted on the wall. On the kitchen counter, there were 2 coffee mugs in the sink, both used. In the bathroom, her familiar shampoo, the one she used at home, sat on the counter with a rosemary label. A razor belonging to a man lay on a shelf alongside an unused deodorant stick that wasn't mine. In the bedroom closet, I found 3 of Dana's blouses hanging near a man's jacket. Recognizing the jacket, I remembered seeing it at a clinic holiday party on a physical therapist named Garrett. Tall with a friendly smile, he had shaken my hand and praised Dana as the backbone of the office. I took pictures of everything: the closet contents, the shampoo bottles, the mugs, the razor, the jacket. After locking the door and pocketing the key, I drove to work for the day. That evening, I didn't return home. Instead, I called Dana from a hardware store parking lot, claiming an urgent call about a broken main line at a commercial property, saying I would be back late. She agreed to handle dinner, and I heard Caleb laughing at the TV in the background. The sound of his laughter stayed with me throughout my drive to Ray's house. As I showed Ray the photos on my phone, the closet, the shampoo, the razor, the jacket, one by one, I informed him of the name. Garrett, a physical therapist, operates within the same clinic as Dana. They share a building each day. Ray accessed the Ridgeline Terrace listing online, locating Unit 21, which was leased 8 months ago under Garrett's full name. For 8 months, Dana has been entering that apartment while I picked up our son from school and repaired other people's plumbing. Ray filled 2 glasses of water, placing one before me. He asked my intentions. I revealed that I wanted Garrett to realize the key was lost. I desired for Dana to search for it but find it absent, and I wished to be present when she struggled to justify its disappearance. Ray scrutinized me for a considerable duration and then claimed that was the first intelligent thing I'd said all week. On Friday morning, I dropped Caleb at school and contacted a family attorney recommended by Ray during his divorce. A single meeting lasting 15 minutes. She advised me to record everything, back up photos in 2 locations, and refrain from leaving the house. I finished what I was doing, then went to work and completed 3 service calls as usual, replacing a garbage disposal, fixing a leaky shutoff valve, and unclogging a shower drain. An ordinary day ended with me preparing spaghetti with meat sauce for dinner, Caleb's favorite. I arranged the table for 3. Upon Dana's arrival, she casually hung her purse by the door and appeared relaxed. She ate with us, shared a story about a patient at the clinic who fell off a yoga ball during a session, which made both Caleb and me laugh. After dinner, while Caleb watched TV in the living room, Dana went upstairs to change. I heard her rummage through her purse, jingle her keys, and open and close a drawer up in the bedroom. Her face seemed to transform. She questioned if I'd seen a key, a small silver one distinct from our house key. I glanced up from the couch and admitted that I had taken it. She descended the stairs gradually, single-stepped. She inquired about my statement. I claimed that I took the key because Jess doesn't possess a cat. Dana's mouth widened and narrowed. She asserted I was exaggerating. I allowed that remark to linger before responding. Then I restated that Jess does not own a cat, nor does she have an extra key with someone else. Also, the medical eco accesses Unit 21 at Ridgeline Terrace. I maintained my composure. My raised volume was unnecessary. I added one more point. I noticed your shampoo beside Garrett's razor. 6 words regarding a green bottle and a blade, and her entire countenance crumbled. She clung to the kitchen counter as if it were her only support. She started rapid-firing explanations about how it wasn't what I supposed, about how Garrett was experiencing a difficult period, about how nothing transpired, about how I was misconstruing the situation. I didn't contest any of it. I extracted my phone and displayed the image of her blouses hanging in Garrett's wardrobe next to his jacket. In 9 years of marriage, she ran out of words for the first time. After our conversation, I returned the phone to my pocket and warned her to remove her belongings from the apartment by Monday, or I would distribute every photo from the clinic, starting with her boss. However, Dana did not vacate Garrett's apartment by Monday. Instead, she left hours. On Sunday evening, while bathing Caleb, she packed 2 suitcases and left a note on the kitchen table. It expressed her need for space to think and claimed that I had rendered our situation impossible by sifting through her things and intruding upon her privacy, accusing me of breaching her trust. I reread the line about violating trust twice. For 8 months, she had been entering another man's apartment with a key she concealed. Yet, it was I who had broken trust. I tucked the note away in a kitchen drawer and went to bed. On Monday morning, I contacted the attorney, informing her that my wife had willingly departed from our home. She told me this actually bolstered my case. I deposited Caleb at school and he inquired about Mom. I explained she had an obligation to assist a friend temporarily. He wondered if it was the friend with the pet cat. I nearly chuckled. I clarified, "No, son, there isn't any cat." He acknowledged and hastily gathered his bag before dashing towards the building. In the afternoon, I received a text from an unfamiliar number. It was Garrett. He asserted I had no authority to intimidate Dana and threatened to contact the police if I reached out to either of them or visited his apartment again. I chose not to respond. I took a screenshot and sent it to my lawyer. 3 weeks later, while having lunch in my truck during breaks, my phone rang. It was Megan, Dana's sister. We had always been friendly. She attended our wedding, came to Caleb's birthday parties, and even sent him books at Christmas. Her tone was cautious. "Dana informed the entire family that you evicted her due to a misconception, implying your history of anger problems and controlling behavior, stating she fled out of fear. Megan was uncertain about what to believe, but wished to hear your explanation before making a decision. Instead of speaking, you sent her 4 images: a closet filled with Dana's blouses, shampoo next to a razor, Garrett's jacket, and the signed lease with Garrett's full name and date 8 months prior. After a 10-second silence, Megan indicated she would contact her sister and return your call later. Contrary to her promise, she instead drove to Ridgeline Terrace herself that same day. She visited Unit 21 and found Garrett in a t-shirt with Dana on the couch in her clinic scrubs. Megan phoned you that evening, saying only 2 words: "I'm sorry." She revealed their parents were now aware of the entire truth. Every night, Dana had recounted a different tale to me. However, this phase was over, as the divorce was finalized 11 weeks following the removal of the house key from her keychain. Dana did not contest custody. Her lawyer attempted it once, but my attorney presented the photos and lease date, ending the discussion. I obtained full custody of Caleb. The property remained in my name because I purchased it before marriage and never included Dana. For approximately 6 weeks, Dana resided with Garrett. By the time the documents were signed, Megan informed me they had parted ways. It seemed he was unwilling to manage another's custody matters. I refrained from seeking further details. The day after the divorce was finalized, I awoke early, prepared Caleb scrambled eggs and toast, and drove him to school. On my way back, I stopped at a hardware store and purchased a new front door lock. Although the old one functioned well, I desired a fresh key on my ring mine alone. Before my morning call, I cleared metal fragments from the porch and climbed into my vehicle. By midday, I was scheduled to swap out a water heater in Cedar Hills.